Welcome to Healing America with Dr. Jim White. Jim has been investing, coaching executives, and turning around companies for over 30 years. Now your host, Dr. Jim White.
Hello, this is Jim White, and welcome to Healing America. This is our episode number 6, and this evening we're going to continue to talk about my latest book that we released, Broken America, and just talk about some current events, if you will. The show's going to be a little different this evening. I don't know what I can say any more than that the 24 news stations are not saying or haven't said. But Broken America, the book, the 10 guiding principles to restore America. I'll hold it up here. 10 guiding principles to restore America. I have been looking at this, been carrying it around ever since we released it. And I will turn to it and I say, man, will these 10 guiding principles help us restore America? And I know last week we talked a little bit about the book, and it's really we talked about the vision, and we talked about leadership, we talked about truth seeking, we talked about courage, we talked about integrity, we talked about tolerance and equality, we talked about integrity. We talked about respect. We talked about patriotism, capitalism, and compromise. All of those particular things. So, since we're continuing to have technical difficulties with Reverend Johnson, and I'm just going to dig right into what's on my mind this evening, and I'm going to start with leadership. Leadership, like I said, I would be remiss if I did not share my concern for the country and my concern for the lack of leadership that we constantly see from President Donald Trump. And I don't know about you, but if you have been following recent days, and before I go too much further, this illness, this COVID-19, is a serious situation. And I think everybody around the globe recognizes that. It is not to be taken lightly. It is deadly. It is deadly. And I don't know why it's such a challenge for us to simply say, please just do one thing. And that is wear a mask. I know, wear a mask. Wash your hands, social distance, be respectful of your fellow Americans, and this help us get this thing under control. Watching Dr. Fauci and talking about that we need to get our numbers down and get control of this, and especially as we're going into the winter season. To me, it's concerning, but more importantly than what we're not doing, or I should say equally as important, is how the President of the United States is absolutely being so irresponsible when he checked himself into Walter Reed Hospital and started his treatment. We should all be concerned, or I know I was concerned, because we only have one president at a time, right? One president at a time. And I'm concerned for our presidents. I wish them nothing but the best, and because this is still the greatest nation on earth. But at the same time, the lack of leadership coming from this president is just appalling. Especially appalling for a veteran, specifically for someone that has voluntarily put on the uniform and served proudly, which I did in Vietnam in the mid-'60s, 2 tours, proudly. And to be able to, as many years later, 50 years later, I never thought I would see a administration as so irresponsible as the current administration that we have in the White House. This is probably going to continue to sound like a political ad, right? Not intended to, other than say that I don't think we have any choices. We got clear choices that we must make, I should say, and that is on November the 3rd, 28 days from now, that we show up at the polls and we send the overwhelming message to Donald Trump that his leadership, his kind of leadership, his lack of leadership is no longer needed, and he must depart so we can start to heal. Vice President Biden and his running mate, Senator Harris, I think they are our only choice in my opinion. And you've heard me say many times that I am not 100% in alignment with everything that the Democrats say or do, or their platform or their policies. I'm not. We got a lot of improvements that we need to make. However, I can say with confidence, without a doubt in my mind, that Joe Biden will help us to start healing, and start going, as he says, to the soul of the nation. I believe that to my core. I believe that we must support and do everything we can to get Joe Biden elected, and stand on that podium or wherever it may be in January 2021 and take the oath of office and go into that Oval Office in that White House that we are seeing in all the news station that's become this hotbed of COVID-19, and to be able to see the irresponsible behavior from all of the staffers for the most part. I just was listening before we went live that none of the staffers are cooperating with CDC guidelines as far as contact tracing. And I think we can go back to the events at the Rose Garden when President Trump trotted out his nominee to shove it in their face that we're going to hell or high water, if you will, get this nominee in front, and Mitch McConnell are going to do all the votes and make this happen with 30 days left. And look what's happened. You see the images of everybody sitting in that in the Rose Garden, and look at all the poor souls that's been infected with this COVID-19 as a result of that irresponsible. Our top leaders of the world were sitting in that audience. And what message are we sending when we are sending a message to not only to our kids and to our allies and the people around the world? Look at the American leadership. Look how irresponsible they are. And it's just like, to me, it's a lethal weapon. This COVID-19 is a lethal weapon, in my opinion. I don't understand how we could view it any other way, other than the fact that irresponsible behavior is absolutely making people sick. And over 200,000 Americans has died as a result of this COVID-19 virus. Also remember a tweet that President Trump tweeted when he left. I got some of the best therapies. I got some of the best doctors. I got some of the best treatments, and I am 20 years younger than I was. But you know what, Mr. President? Not everybody has the ability to get have all the resources that you do. And the insult that you send to those people that has passed as a result of your lack of leadership and your continuing to act like a dictator is unbelievable. As I continue to talk about what we're faced with today in our country, you can tell my veins are popping out, my face is turning red, because I am just angry. I am angry at the irresponsibility. I am angry when I heard just a few minutes ago that President Trump said to his Secretary of Treasury, we're not going to negotiate any longer for a stimulus package. We're going to let businesses continue to fall apart. We're going to stop. We're not going to talk to the Democrats. We're not going to do anything until after the election. But Mitch McConnell, your direction is to do everything you possibly can to get my next Supreme Court nominee confirmed in less than 28 days prior to the election. How can we call this leadership, ladies and gentlemen? How can we call this integrity? How? I don't see how we can. And then to the fact of truth seeking. You saw him get off Marine One last night. He walks up those stairs. He goes up to this balcony. He stands there. He adjusts and he deliberately removes his mask. He stands and he starts saluting like someone sitting on top of a mountain and expecting his subjects to bow to his will. It's not the America that I know. And it's not the America that we deserve. We got an individual that is a reality star that got elected to the highest land in the country. He doesn't know what it's like to sacrifice. He doesn't know what it's like to be hungry. He has no compassion. He has no empathy. It's all about him. Don't you get that? Don't you see that? I have said many times that a lot of the policies that the Republicans support, I agree with. You've also heard me say, when Joe Biden is elected and takes the oath of office in January of 2021, please, Mr. President Joe Biden, do not throw away every policy that has Trump's name on it, even though I understand the urge to do so. We have this great initiative that was created in December 2017. And I'm not talking about the tax cuts for the rich, the 1%. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this wonderful initiative called Qualified Opportunity Zones, Qualified Opportunity Funds, with a great purpose and mission to make economic development in over 8,700 zones in the United States, where 35 million Americans reside, where we can help make people's life better, where we can take capital gains that's sitting on the sidelines and invest in areas that will make a social impact more than we can even imagine right now. I believe in that initiative. I believe we can do more. Our infrastructure in the United States is falling apart. There's not a better initiative that we could roll out than is to approve a transportation and a new infrastructure bill. All of these things are so important to our way of life. All these things are so important to putting people back to work. When you're out of work, when you're hungry, you do desperate things. When you wake up in the morning and you don't know how you're going to put food on the table for your family as a provider, it starts eating away at your core. It starts eating away at your self-esteem. The mental health aspects of this COVID-19, unemployment, job loss, the president of the United States absolutely mocking and making fun of our great American heroes, our veterans. The president making fun and mocking our first responders, our other great heroes of America. Our president of the United States telling so many untruths that we know that our adversaries are smiling, just hoping that we can continue to erode are the America that has been so great for so many years. Yes, we have many, many, many opportunities, is what I choose to use in America. We got opportunities to, as I say in my book, and principle number 6, tolerance and equality, respect, rights for everyone, truth, being able to love whoever you want to love, being able to marry whoever you want to marry, being able to have a clear vision for our nation and for your family and for yourself. As we continue to count down to November the 3rd, and as we watch the devastation that's occurred in the White House, can you believe that our White House is pretty much a ghost house right now? With all of the infection, and at the same time, not showing respect for this deadly virus. Then we have to guess as to the health of our president. I made no bones about it. I do not respect our current president, but he is our president. We deserve to know the truth. His irrational behavior when he decided to go out on a joyride just to feed his own ego and to put so many people in harm's way is irresponsible. It's irresponsible. The Secret Service is there to protect the president. The Secret Service should not have to think that the person that they would step in front of a bullet for would be the individual that's putting them in harm's way because his irresponsible behavior and wants to go on a joyride because he is bored. He is bored. As a business leader, as a father, as a husband, I cannot fathom how I could even begin deliberately to put so many people in harm's way. This COVID-19 has been devastated in so many ways. It's been devastating from the employers. For our companies that I have the pleasure to lead, we constantly talking about COVID protocol, making sure that we are doing everything that we possibly can to provide a safe working environment for our employees. We were one of the first companies to come out with a policy prior to the first approval from Congress on the CARES Act that said we will give our employees up to 80 hours and we pay for it. That was before. That's how much we care, my staff, myself, our board, our shareholders, cares about our employees and what we do. To see the president standing on that balcony last evening just infuriated me. Infuriated me to no end, standing there like a dictator, saluting. If he's going to salute as a as a ex-army officer and a soldier, learn how to salute properly. And to totally disrespect the journalists that are trying to do the best they can to get to the truth. And I'm not saying all the media is after that or has that mission. I'm not. But I think the majority of do. For the president not to be forthcoming about his health during that time that he was in the Walter Reed, one of the best medical facilities in the world, in my opinion. He was actually putting America in harm's way and creating a security risk for the United States because of his ego. Because of his ego. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we have 28 days. 28 days. I hope every American exercises your right to vote. And I hope you do send a message that we cannot continue to put the great country that we love in jeopardy. We cannot withstand another 4 years of Donald J. Trump. We cannot. It'd be devastating. It would be devastating to have him for another 4 years. There's a couple of the things in the book as I reflect, as you can, and I hope everybody that's tuning in live this evening and that's maybe watching the replay at some other time, I hope you can understand and my passion and my concern and the love that I have for our country. I woke up, I think it was about 2:30 this morning, couldn't sleep, got up, came down to my office, started working, looking at the work, and we have a very important project that we're doing. Happens to be an opportunity zone in one of our properties in Salinas, California. Such a great project. Going to create so many jobs, and it's in the food industry, supply chain. And the reason I bring that up is to say, telling the truth, getting up every day to try to make someone's life a little bit better than it was yesterday is a big deal. And as I picked up the book early this morning and I started scanning through, and I just, and on page, I think I started looking at the ground rules that I decided to put into the book. And I started off with the truth matters. I just kept coming over and over and over this morning, about 3:30 in the morning, the truth matters. And as I was looking at my head in a spreadsheet, doing some analysis, thinking about the scientific principles that matter. And one of the things that I was analyzing was climate and environment, what we could do in our new development to limit our footprint as best we could. All the different options are available in technology through science which our current president does not believe in, obviously. Then I also turn to the section that says that politicians often lie, and that just hurt my heart to think that is the norm in our current political system in the United States. I saw an advertisement for Senator Harris, and it's just the words that I use. And their words are, "We're better than this." I've used that for years, and I was pleased to hear her say that, and I agree with her. We are better than this, America. Propaganda was exactly what you were seeing on that balcony last night as President Trump stood there in all of his glory, getting his photograph taken, getting a video prepared. Propaganda. I am the strong man. I beat COVID. Don't be afraid of COVID. Don't let COVID control your life. That's a strong man approach. That's what you would see from some of the worst dictators in the world. It's not us. It's not us, ladies and gentlemen. Regardless of what our policy difference is, we have got to say enough is enough. Yes, we're going to have policy differences, as I said. We can sit down and we can negotiate those. But we got to have ethics. We got to have values. And we must have leaders to lead by example and out front. I want to thank you for allowing me this time to share with you my concerns and the love for the country. And I certainly want to thank our guests that were having some technical difficulties. I was looking forward to our interview this evening. Maybe we'll have an opportunity at another time. And I want to thank you, the viewers, that give me an opportunity and for all the feedback that I get from you. I want to say, God bless. Be safe. And we'll be back 6:30 Eastern next Tuesday. Until then, good night.
Thank you for your participation and interest in Healing America with Dr. Jim White. To stay in touch with Jim, go to www.healingamericawithdrjimwhite.com.